Good morning, church. Welcome to the Wednesday morning service. Today's portion is taken from Matthew chapter 16, verse 18, where Jesus talks to Peter and he says, I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. Now, Jesus is talking about building a church, and on Peter, there are 12 disciples. He could have chosen 2, maybe 4, because you require a team to build a church. Alone, would it be possible for Peter to handle it? He's raw. He needs to understand what a church is, how to go about, and this is the first time something that Jesus is putting on as a responsibility. And many a times this question comes up. So as I look into history, as I was doing this study and I look into history, I'm talking about the worldly history, okay? Worldly history and the church history. And I'm glad that I come across people who worked alone and made a significant difference to lives and countries and cities. It made a lot. And I'm glad that we think that we cannot, but it is the power of one, that everywhere it is significantly exposed, or it is realistic in our lives, where we see one man leading, one man coming out with things. In our overpopulated, impersonal world, it is easy to underestimate the significance of one. With so many people, most of whom seem so much capable, so much gifted, so much prosperous, more important than I, who am I to think my part amounts to much, or I amount to anything? I don't think it is capable. I'm capable of it. I don't think I'll be able to handle it. And I'm glad that as I look back into the worldly history also, I'm glad I go through Henry Ford. He didn't think so. Nor did Martin Luther, Walt Disney, Winston Churchill, Abraham Lincoln, Charles Wesley, and Maria Anderson. But it's a different world today, man. Back then there was room for individuals to emerge. But now, no way. Too much of competition, saturated markets, cutthroat. Competition is on the rise and everybody is clamoring for more, and you start something new and so many others jump in. And, there are a lot of copies being done, and you just can't find yourself in this crowd, kind of. But you're wrong, brothers and sisters in Christ. God has always underscored individual involvement, and He still does with you and with me. The moment we are prepared, the moment He calls, and the moment we are prepared, He'll use you. How many did it take to help the victim who got mugged on the way to Jericho? 1. Good Samaritan. How many were chosen to confront the Pharaoh and lead the Exodus? 1. How many sheep got lost and became an object for concern to the shepherd? Just 1. How many did the Lord use to prepare the way for the Lord? 1. John the Baptist. Never underestimate the power of one. You as one. Never underestimate. Many centuries ago, a woman just did. She thought things were far too gone, and she certainly did not think there was anything that she could do personally. It is only a matter of time that all the Jews would be exterminated. Her name was Esther. She was the Jewish wife of a Persian king, the man who was about to be tricked into making an irrevocable, disastrous decision. All the Jews would be completely exterminated from the face of this earth. But the tide could be turned. Guess by how many? Just 1. One woman, one voice saved an entire nation. As it is true of every person who stands in the gap. She was willing to personally get involved to the point of sacrifice. As she said, if I perish, I perish. In Esther 4:16. She made this statement, if I perish, I perish. But I'm standing in the gap, I'm taking my decision, and I'm putting my step forward. I'm putting my neck forward, rather. Put aside all your excuses and ask yourself what you should be doing. You alone can make a difference. The question is, will you? If you don't play your part, who will? Amen.